So we also talked about the good intentions. You spoke about that earlier. I just want to lean a little bit more into it and just talk about the fact that this is what we see. This is what's happening, regardless of how much you care about people,
Right.
how progressive you are, how much change you want. That
Right.
is not the indicator of good behavior. Those are great things that you want in your heart. And while that's in your heart, there are behaviors to pay attention to. So can we talk about that in why that
Yes.
is?
Yes. Yes. I think that there's a few things that speak to me almost immediately. One is, how do I want to start with this one? Okay. So one is that and I want people who are white leaders to think about all of these things, building them into their work. One of the things that white leaders are really good at learning how to do, and it relates to your earlier point about, am I saying the wrong thing, or I don't want to upset anybody, or I don't want to be racist. It, if you have learned to unpack diversity, if you have learned how to engage around intersectionality, first do it. Make sure that you build it into your work. Right.
Yes,
And at the same time, while you are so there should never be a meeting where you don't say, let's just talk about let's talk about the intersectional pieces of this. Let's make sure we talk about that. That needs to be built in. And a big part of intersectionality is unpacking whiteness. If you have not spoken the words, let's talk about unpacking whiteness, that is a huge piece of this, because that is the thing nobody talks about ever. Ever. And that means paying attention to the influence of white supremacy. It means talking about the amount of white privilege. It means talking about white fragility, like all those pieces, and modeling that it's okay to talk about that. So that's one piece of this. And I think that well-intentioned folk don't build that in to their deals. That's one that stands out to me. A second one is that we know what we know, and we know what we don't know, right? That's where people go into it. There's a third category. We don't know what we don't know. Okay? So we know what we know. We know what we don't know. We don't know what we don't know. There is a huge category of that we're not even checking for because we don't even know it exists. And so white leaders should be recognizing that there is another whole category of things that you are not even aware of because your privilege obscures them. Do you know that for years, my relatives are Jewish. They're atheist Jews, so we don't celebrate any. I didn't get bar mitzvah or anything, but I celebrate all the Christian holidays. It never even occurred to me that other people, I work in a school, and I never even considered that certain people wouldn't be happy with the holidays that we were celebrating because they didn't celebrate them. Why? Because I don't know what I don't know.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
That's a real thing.
Yes.
And that has nothing to do with intention, right? I really need to get a tattoo right on my neck that intention doesn't equal impact, right?
Yes.
What you intend has nothing to do with how people receive you.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. You're also modeling part of your own accountability. And you just made me think just yesterday, I was talking to one of my colleagues who I graduated from the MSW program with. And she was just talking about first gen, and we got all into the convo, and I was sitting there thinking, she was talking about intersectionality. I said, and nowhere in my mind had I ever considered first gen people, their experience, inclusive language around that. I was like, hold on. Inclusive language, the way that the world is talking about it right now, doesn't even include any of that, at all. So I just said, oh my goodness. I said, I care, but obviously not that much. It's just not on my radar. It's not my lived experience. It's not something. I said, and I'm working with students who are first gen. They're writing about it in their assignments, and I'm asking them, what does this mean? You're not saying anything about it. But without me knowing or having it in me to care, I don't want to say care, but I'm saying care because there's something about me that's not risen to the level of let me take action that I have to own too. So there's that. But anywho,
but also there's an awareness that you can't do it all.